What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Dominick. We are back on the couch for another DGA Live. I'm joined with, as always, Miss Chris.
Hey.
There she is. If you watched last week's episode, we were talking about cartoons, our favorite 1980s cartoons, cartoons that aired in the 80s. We're continuing with that, and we're talking 90s. So the rule was, for order to be a 90s cartoon, it had to first air in the 90s. Some of these cartoons are still going today, but they're classified as 90s cartoons. Now, last week on the channel, we talked about The Simpsons and how much I'm a Simpsons nut.
Yeah.
They're on season, 32?
Something
So,
like that.
I mean, they've been going on for 30 years. And Simpsons originally aired in 1989.
89.
But the thing was, that first fucking year was
terrible.
garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage. So, Simpsons are allowed for 90s because, well, shit, they had 10 years of the 90s. They had all of the 2000s so far. So, Simpsons is that one cartoon
Okay.
that's allowed. So, like always, we create lists for those that haven't seen the channel before. We create lists. We don't show each other. And we're doing a top 5 with some honorable mentions, all that good stuff. And these are just our favorite cartoons of the 90s. We discuss it, all that good stuff. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out the DGA Live archive. You can check out our cartoons. We talk movies. We talk pop culture, retro video games, new video games, you name it. It's just a pop culture channel. So we'll let Miss Chris start it off. 90s cartoons, number 5.
This one was one of my absolute favorites. Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain. I forgot about that one.
Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius.
The other's insane. Yeah, remember. The laboratory mind. We'll do the whole fucking song.
So 1995, just loved the...
Now, was Pinky and the Brain part of Animaniacs?
Okay, so yes, but not really. They were separate because Pinky and the Brain came out in 95. Animaniacs came out before that.
Okay, so it was like kind of like a
Like
spin-off.
let in,
Like
yeah.
a spin-off.
Right, and I have, yes, we'll touch base on that here.
Right. Okay. My number 5 aired from 94 to 96, so a real short span, is The Tick.
Oh, that was a good one. I haven't really
love
watched
The
it, but I
Tick.
know.
The live action, they did a live action, I want to say late 90s. They kind of bombed. But I love The Tick just for how stupid it was. Like, his catchphrase was spoon! And Arthur was a fucking moth. And the freaking villains in that cartoon were great. Like, Chair Chippendale was literally a dude with a chair for a fucking head. And Mr. Smarty Pants, the dolphin that talks like this. It was badass. Love The Tick. Love to see that rebooted. Definitely had to be in the top 5, top 10 for me.
Cool.
Number 4.
All right, so this one, speaking of The Simpsons, it's The Simpsons, and I only
Okay.
chose it because, again, it did run through the whole entire 90s, so I kind of look at it more 90s than 80s.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You can't go wrong with The Simpsons, and I had a hard time ranking it in my top 5, so it's there. It probably ties with number 1, but whatever.
Right, Simpsons is in a class all by itself. We could do a whole episode on the fucking Simpsons.
Yep.
So it's hard to place it in 80s, even though it did come out in the 80s. It was all the 90s. They're still going for the 19 years that we've been in the 2000s. It's still going. So it will always be on a list.
Yeah,
so I'm
right.
with you there.
Right.
Now, my number 4 is weird because just like The Simpsons, this show aired in 1999. Okay? So technically it's 90s, right?
Okay.
It's still airing today, but that first year sucked ass. Family Guy.
Okay, I have that on as an honorable mention.
And I put it in 4th place because that first year, the only year it was in the 90s, was pretty shitty.
Yeah, and I put it in honorable mentions, just kind of like how we did Simpsons for the 80s.
Right.
Because it more ran you know, like here recently, like in the 2000s and stuff, and
Right.
I really probably didn't. I didn't get into it in the 90s. It was.
I got
it was
into it.
later on.
Yeah, I got into it probably like the 4th season.
Yeah.
And but I wanted to mention it because it was released in '99. Now I did put another one in its place, just in case we don't count it, and I put Real Monsters.
Oh,
you remember that?
A good one.
That was from that was pure '90s. That was I think that's the only Nickelodeon one on my list. But it was '94 to '97, and it was a show about fucking monsters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
All about that.
That was a great show.
Yep.
That was a great show. I loved it, and I don't remember any of their names.
I don't either.
I don't remember any of them. But that'd be. I would love to own like just like a DVD collection of that. You know what I mean? Just to watch those again.
Yep.
What do you got for 3?
Okay, you're not gonna like it. However, it aired in '98. Is one of my favorites. You wanna take a guess?
'98. Give me an idea.
It's all girls.
All girls. Brats?
No.
Fucking. Give me another hint.
There was a blonde one, a brunette, and a redhead.
Oh, Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff.
Yes.
That's it. Actually,
Loved
that show didn't bother me.
Love that
didn't
show.
bother me. That show
You
was
wanna
actually
hear something funny?
pretty funny.
I actually didn't get into that until I ended up dating back in high school, dating this guy that liked it. That's how I ended up liking.
It was
Powerpuff
one of those
Girls.
shows that kind of teetered on unisex. Like it was a show about girls.
Bubbles was my favorite.
Bubbles, yeah, and all this sugar and spice and everything nice, and he fucking whips up these.
Yeah.
And then
such a cute one.
They had that fucking monkey with the brain that was like, what the hell was his name?
I know, I couldn't. It's
The,
been forever since I've seen
it's been a minute since I watched Powerpuff Girls. Okay, so my number 3, I did put The Simpsons.
Okay.
And I put
I'm surprised that
I put it smack dab in the middle because, like, that first year was horrible. It took a while for it to get even funny in the 90s.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, when I stream and go nuts on The Simpsons, I don't even start it
until like season 3 or 4.
until like way later.
I thought we started this last time on season 3.
No, that was Family Guy.
Okay.
Family Guy I usually start around season 3 or 4.
Okay.
To get rid of those first garbage seasons. Simpsons even further. I'll start like around like 6 or 7.
Okay.
Before you like Homer really, because Homer just gets dumber. The fucking years go, and that's my boy, man. I fucking love Homer. And they killed off some characters. They brought in some characters, and like Hank Azaria, who I fucking love Hank Azaria. He voices like, I want to say like 10 characters on that show. Like Mo Sizlak, all that stuff. He got better too with his voices as the years progressed and all that stuff. It's that's why I put it in the middle. Gotcha. I mean, like Simpsons, like I said before, class all of its own, but I had to get it in the list somewhere. So, what is your number 2?
Rugrats, 91.
I knew you were gonna say Rugrats for some reason. I was thinking 1 or 2 for that. Not a huge fan of Rugrats. That's my sister. My sister was all Rugrats, Doug, and Hey Arnold. Mm-hmm. That's my sister in a fucking. I mean, she was born in the 90s, so she grew up with it. We were hitting our teens in the 90s.
Right.
Not a bad show, but not one I
love the Rugrats.
I'm drawn to. My number 2 in the 90s, definite favorite for mine, but I'm going to tell you a disappointment about it too. Aired from 92 to 96 is Rocko's Modern Life. Okay. I love Laundry Day. It's a very dangerous time.
In which they just came up with a new one too, which was pretty
nice.
I
was pissed because I got so... All right, let me tell you something about Rocko. Back in the VHS days, I used to go to the dollar store and pick up VHS tapes, right? And I would put them in my VCR, and when Rocko would come on, I'd hit record, and as soon as the commercials came on, I'd stop it and hit record. So I would have these commercial-free Rockos on tape, right? And I loved it. Also, Netflix announces, hey, we got a new Rocko coming out, and we have a new Invader Zim. Now, Invader Zim is 2000, so it's not in this list. I got so excited for these 2 cartoons. Rocko comes on, disappointment. It was such a disappointment to me. It could have been done so much better. Like, it was cool to see some of the original characters. Like, I love Heifer, I love Filbert. Mrs. Big Head fucking cracks me up. She's the neighbor. Hey, Rocko! She's the neighbor. Really, really big man. I mean, they had all the characters in it. I thought the storyline, though, sucked.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to see more. Now, Invader Zim did a phenomenal job on its reboot. So, but that's 2000, so it's not on the list.
Yeah.
So, but original Rocco's definitely was my number 2.
Okay.
All right, number 1, let me guess. Nickelodeon?
I don't know. I'm not really good with that.
Is it Doug?
No, but that is on one of my honorable mentions. You mentioned it with the Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, Animaniacs.
Animaniacs, yes.
Yeah, that's a good
so
show.
here's something that I found out today. Came out in '93. First of all, my favorite character, I think her name was Mindy, the little blonde girl. They would be like, okay, love you, bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. Is that
Okay,
the one that...
lady, love you, bye-bye.
Is that the one that was always like, and I want to love him and squeeze
him
him?
and
Okay,
call
yeah,
him
yeah.
George.
All right, yeah.
But anyways, they're doing a reboot. So in 2020, they're doing 2 new seasons of Animaniacs.
No shit. So here's another thing too, that IGN, anybody that follows IGN, IGN.com, you can follow them on, they got an official Twitter and they got an Instagram too. They announced yesterday that Nickelodeon and Netflix teamed up to release some new episodes
Nice.
on Netflix. So I'm
Nice.
hoping we get Invader Zim. I'm hoping we get more Roccos, because that first Rocco was a disappointment to me. I'm hoping we see these reboots like you're talking about. But that was WB.
Oh, it was. Yeah,
was
you're right. Now that you
yeah.
say that, I remember seeing the
that
logo.
was WB. That wasn't Nickelodeon.
But Pinky and the Brain, there's an episode where Mindy has the brain, and she's like, "Okay, love you, bye bye."
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They crossed. There was a lot of cool characters on there.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you that for number 1. That's
it's such a good one. And then last night when we were at Zia, I was so excited. I saw these, I don't know what they were, playing cards or something. Remember they were at the Animaniacs?
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be on my number 1 tomorrow.
Do you know my number 1? Because this was easy for me.
It's SpongeBob, isn't it?
SpongeBob. Actually, SpongeBob.
It's on my honorable mention.
I would give it. It's not.
Was pretty darn good.
I'd give it an honorable mention.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. One of my favorite voice actors in the world.
I don't know.
1992 to 95, Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, I saw that on there too.
Fucking great, dude. Mark Hamill is the Joker. Kevin Conroy is Batman. I mean, the Joker! I mean, that's like, to me, that's the Joker's voice. I get pissed when it's not Mark Hamill. Troy Baker did a good job. That series spawned a whole bunch of other series. And so my first honorable mention is Batman Beyond.
Okay.
That was the one where Bruce Wayne's older. He's kind of giving it up. He just hangs out in the Batcave being old man Bruce. And Terry McGinnis becomes Batman. And he kind of becomes the Oracle in a way. He sits in the Batcave and watches him through the suit. And he's like, Terry! And he just fucking yells at him. Does all. That was a great show because it was such a fresh spin on Batman. But Batman the Animated Series, they had the Joker, Catwoman, Two-Face, all that good stuff. I had the fucking toys. I had the toys. That show also spawned the first animated cartoon movie for Batman, which was Batman Behind the Phantasm Mask or something like that. I forgot what it was. But that was like 96 or some shit. And that started a whole trend of animated movies from DC. So definite, when we were filming last week and we were doing 80s and we were setting up this 90s one, right away I said, dude, I got my number 1.
Yeah.
I got it. It's fucking Batman. It was such a great.
That's how I felt about the Animaniacs. I knew last week when we did the 80s what was going to be my... When I found out that the Animaniacs didn't come out in the 80s, I was like, well, that's going to be my number 1 for 90s.
Right. Real quick, to kind of backtrack on the 80s, do you remember Count Duckula?
Yes.
I was just thinking about that today. I was talking to a coworker, and I asked him if he saw it, and he was like, no, I don't remember that. But that aired for a long time. Mm-hmm. That was like 87 to 93. I don't know how that show lasted so long. Give me some honorable mentions.
Tiny Toon Adventures.
Great.
Such a cute little
Tiny
thing.
Toons, yeah.
I did Hey Arnold, and then Doug, SpongeBob, of course, and then the Goof Troop.
Oh, I forgot about Goof Troop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about Goof Troop. My honorable mentions is Batman Beyond was my first one. Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, right.
I got into Ren and Stimpy back when it was on MTV.
Okay.
So that was, I mean, fucking years ago. Darkwing Duck. And that was only a couple years too. That didn't last very long, but let's get dangerous. Darkwing Duck is what made me think of Count Duckula.
Oh, okay.
And I put The Critic. I used to love that show.
I remember that.
The Critic was John Lovitz, was the main character, and he was a critic. He was a film critic. And the show always started with a fake movie, and he would be a critic about it. You know what I mean? And it was very comical. It was very, very Family Guy.
Yeah.
And his catchphrase was, "It stinks." It just gave everything a fucking thumbs down. Very, very, it was to me, this show set up Family Guy.
Okay.
Because when I first saw Family Guy, it reminded me of The Critic. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. I put South Park because I got into South Park when I was about 16. And
that's about right.
The first, I'd say like 3-4 seasons were hilarious. You know what I mean? They kept introducing new characters. You know, you had the fucking, what was his name?
Towley.
No. Towley. Well, I forgot about that. Towley was like, "You want to get high?"
Okay.
The Mr. Hanky.
Oh, Mr. Hanky, right.
So they kept
the Christmas poo.
That's right. They kept introducing new characters, and they kept it fresh. Now I can't even stand the show now.
Yeah, I couldn't.
It's so political.
I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah, I just can't get into it like I did 20 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it definitely made an honorable mention because it was very controversial when it came out. Controversial when it came out. Little fact I found on it. Within its first 2 years, because they made fun of celebrities left and right, and they would even give you that warning in the beginning of the cartoon that says that the celebrities' voices are impersonated and blah, blah, blah. Tom Hanks hated the show so much.
I think I remember you saying
he tried buying it to shut it down.
Nice.
And Trey Parker and Matt Stone, I think are the creators, they're like, nah. And they fucking made, and right now it's in a bidding war for Netflix, Hulu.
To put it on?
To put it on, like all the seasons, and it's like up to like 50 million or something for the contract to get exclusive South Park, where it would be only on Netflix or only on Hulu. It's one of the highest bids ever is fucking South Park. Huh, wow. Which I'm actually shocked because yesterday was the launch of Disney Plus. And Disney Plus, who owns Fox, has all 30 seasons of Simpsons on there.
Yes, but did you see, I saw something today, I know you shouldn't believe everything you read on the internet.
That's true.
But Hulu and Disney Plus are now going to combine?
I don't know about that.
I saw something, I'll show it to you. I'll show you what I saw.
Because I thought Disney's big thing was to be its own thing, be its own entity. Mm-hmm. That's why they started pulling from Netflix. Now they're like, okay, like Disney owns fucking everything. They got Marvel, they got Star Wars, they have Fox. So of course you pull it up and you get all the Disney shit. Then they have all the Marvel shit. Well, here's the thing is Netflix owns 2 of the originals. Daredevil and Punisher.
Oh, okay.
Those are Netflix.
Oh, those are Netflix originals.
Yeah. But they're under the Marvel
name
franchise.
Right.
You know, they already pulled Jessica Jones. They already pulled Luke Cage. They pulled the Defenders, but those 2 are still contracted with Netflix. So, but everything else is gone.
Yeah.
Like you can't watch any of the old like Avengers Assemble, all those cartoons, and all those Spider-Man cartoons, and all that shit that was on Netflix is all gone. It's on Disney Plus now. Huh. So I thought that was Disney's goal, was to become its own little network.
I'll have to show you what I saw. I don't know. I didn't really read it. I just happened to skim across it on Facebook or something.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's true, I guess.
Yeah,
I get my news.
And this is all shit I read too. You know about the. You know, these are just stuff I'm relaying back that I read on the internet. Doesn't mean it's 100% true.
Was Cat Dog in the 90s?
Cat Dog was in the 90s.
Cat Dog.
Cat Dog. Cat Dog.
There was something else too that I saw today that I don't remember what it was.
The little Cat Dog. I liked Cat Dog.
Yeah, it's good.
But that's going to do it for us on 90s cartoons. So let me know in the comments what some of your favorites are. I know you know, my sister and stuff, she's a huge 90s fan. She'll probably fucking blow up my comment list.
She'll have a top 20.
She'll have a top 200, you know what I'm saying? But join us next week. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna stay on the TV for a little bit. We're gonna do 80s sitcoms, and then bring that into the 90s too. I already know you're fucking 90s.
Yeah, I know you do. So do I.
So fucking, that's
I'm
the
gonna
hint.
wear this shirt. I'm gonna wear this shirt.
But
I have a painting I may even bring out.
yeah, no shit. So fucking, yeah, we're gonna hit up 80s sitcoms, 90s sitcoms, and be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I will put the links and the handles in the description below. And that'll do it.
Yep.
Until next time, man, we'll catch you later. Peace and hair grease.
See ya.